Yeah, good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
The club announced just a little while ago that Alec Kann would be retiring at the end of the season. And I wanted to, maybe before we got too deep into talking about the playoffs, ask you about Alec and what he's brought to the club and what this means.
Yeah, this is just a small thank you for a player that's had a big impact. I've loved working with Alec. He is a top professional and a really good person and teammate. He embodies, what we want an FCC player to look like and act like as far as performance and just being a really good teammate, being available every day for the right reasons. It's a good career for Alec, and the chance for us to wish him the best. Hopefully, we can have a nice long run to enjoy some more time together. But I've loved working with him.
Thank you. This is the third year under this new playoff format, fourth year for you guys heading into the playoffs in a row. Are there elements to the playoffs now that you feel you might be able to learn from in the past or adapt to differently, or maybe approach this year's playoff run a little bit differently now that you've done it, had some experience with the format and the postseason?
Yeah, it's always different based on your current form, player availability, opponent. So we know what the structure is. We've experienced that, but of course there's differences from last year and what we experienced in our matchup against New York City. And so try to, take some of, those past experiences to help guide you. I think I say this all the time in these moments. It's just to help inform the players, reminder, here's the structure, here's, the rules. This is what yellow cards look like now. This is what, it's straight into a penalty shootout in this first round. So all of those things is just reminders, and then, like I said, new circumstances with opponent, with our players, all of it. So hopefully we can have a strong start like we did last year and go from there.
In talking with some of the guys this week, it just seems like there's like a little bit more fire to them.
Mhm.
I mean, I know it's a rivalry game that probably adds to it, but
Yeah.
they just seem very motivated. Is that something that
I
you're
would hope
noticing?
so. I would hope so. Yeah, we get a chance to enter the playoffs as a 2 seed and be in front of our fans for the first game we play. I think, for everybody involved, it's a long season, and there's a lot of challenges throughout it. But the guys have handled it really well all year, and it's a new energy, a new focus, because now it's different circumstances and a different goal, and that's to go try to win an MLS Cup. So I think the last week, really, we've had a little extra time of preparation, has been enjoyable, because of course we know the challenge in front of us, a strong Columbus team, and afforded a couple extra days to look at things in different phases of play to try to go ahead and have a good start. So the energy, like you said, the intensity, the focus, you would like to think that that's the norm. So I think everybody's just excited to go play.
Columbus, kind of a challenging season for them, but they were able to avoid that play-in game. And what is it about them that just makes them so tough to beat?
I mean, challenging season. That's a good team. What did they finish points-wise behind us? I don't know if it's
54 points.
so, yeah, but when you look at the margins and you watch them play, maybe they would have liked to have been higher. But when you look at the teams that qualified for the playoffs just in the East, the difference from top to bottom is there's not a lot. Other than looking at the seed, there's a lot of strong teams that can go and win an MLS Cup. So, yeah, maybe results-wise, maybe injuries. Of course, that's impacted them like it's impacted us. So it's still a very good team. And they have the ability to take players out, put players in, and be just as strong and just as dominant in how they can play. So, we'll see what that availability looks like for their guys. But I think having, spent enough time now this week preparing the group, our guys know the challenges. It's looked this way for years now as far as facing a strong Columbus team.
Thank you, Coach. With Columbus coming in a best of three, do you see any visible change in demeanor in your players as they go through training? This is a rivalry game, whether you paint it as a best of three or a knockout game.
No change. It's the next, obstacle in our way, and I think that everybody, of course, understands the rivalry component of it, and so that feels different. But the best of three, like I said, is focusing on our first matchup and some of the things that we can, expect. There's, just looking at their last couple games, some of the, the adjustments that they make, to start each game and then in game. Those are the things that you're looking at. But outside of the rivalry component, a lot of the preparation's the same.
Also, speaking of preparation, are there any changes to any injuries in terms of how prepared some players are in terms of returning?
Changes, I don't know, from the last time, I don't remember who at that time, because players have kind of dropped out after we've spoken. So, anybody specifically that you'd like to know about?
Just
Matt,
if there's any
Matt
updates
won't be
and
available.
injuries. Yeah.
Ayub won't be available, and Brad Smith won't be available with Lucas day-to-day. Luca day-to-day. He's been trending in a better way. Ender's good. Yeah. I think that's everybody.
Thank you, sir.
You mentioned a little bit about Columbus's with their availability, with who the personnel might look like, and while you can't know exactly what they're going to look like or who they're going to go out with, how much does what you have to prepare for change when guys like Diego Rossi, who's a key player in what they do all season, may or may not be available? I know Ali is another guy who's been important for them late but has been unavailable. How different do you have? Is there a different version of a game plan you have to prepare for if he's in versus if he's out?
No, they just, he's a very, very important player because of how dynamic he is. He's relentless with his running, with and without the ball. Good pressing player. So he does a lot of things at a very high level. So, of course, if he's in, he's a key player. If he's out, they lose a certain level of, impact, I would say, just based on what he's done previously. But having said that, the guys that they're ready to put in there, and I'm sure the confidence that Wolford has in those guys is going to allow them to continue to play without key players in a strong way. I don't think it's any different from the kind of how we message it to our guys, but no, I don't see it changing anything outside of the strength of the player with their structure and with their approach.
You mentioned also earlier, you know what to expect from this team. You guys have played them, not to expect necessarily specifically, but you know what they're about. You've played them a bunch. The one thing that stands out, I guess, when you look at the statistics about them, and not to cherry pick any one thing, but it's possession. They lead the league in average possession. I think there's only been 6 games this season where they don't win the possession battle. Regardless of the specifics of that, it's a huge part of their game. How can you approach a team who loves to have the ball so much? Is it about as simple as taking it away from them? Like, how do you approach a team who wants to have the ball as much as they do?
It's where's the possession? There's certain areas of the field where it's okay for them to have the ball, and for us to understand how to defend against the ball and to be organized and finding the right moment to get pressure and hopefully win a ball. There are areas where that possession becomes more challenging to defend. So for me, the number is not important if it's not in certain areas of the field. Of course, you don't want to defend for 80% of the game, 70% of the game, whatever the number is. You want to be in control of how you attack, how you defend, how you transition, and so you're not getting exposed when you don't have the ball. So hopefully we have solutions to be strong in how we defend against a team that is comfortable with the ball and does move well off the ball. And to combat that as well, you have to be confident when we have the ball. We have to understand the moments to play fast, the moments to slow play down, and how to slow play down. So guys have to be brave and when we have the ball, and that's a way to combat teams that are very good with the ball. So for me, it's a number. It's where the ball is and what's our defensive structure and who's on the ball, and those are the things that you try to make sure players understand the moments where we're okay not having the ball, and this is a moment where we need to get the ball back.
Is there one quality about this team, your team, that you think makes a difference in the postseason this year?
I think they understand how to suffer. I think you're always going to have moments in games, and maybe it's not looking the way you want to. And I think there is a strong enough mentality there to overcome those stretches, those moments, and still, come out ahead. So I think it's kind of probably it is why we're in the position we're in. I think if you look at the season as a whole and the position we're in, being able to play our first playoff game at home, it's how we've gotten, through moments of struggle over the course of the regular season. So hopefully there's not too much struggle, but I think if that's the case, the guys have shown to be able to endure that and, find success from it.
And if I can follow up, because Ayub was one of the injuries that happened after, or I guess
Happened after, yeah.
happened after we talked. What is he dealing with exactly, and is that something?
Yeah, he had a muscle injury, hamstring. So he's been pushing it and trending in a very good way, but this would have maybe been too much too soon. So we're targeting the second game of this first round.
And then I know I ask you about Matt all the time, and you gave us a timeline, but is there a realistic chance that he will be back, if depending on you guys advancing, or is there a chance that he's done?
Yeah, same timeline. No, there's at this point, no. It's not about being done. It's just advancing, and then hopefully that's the case, and he's available.